Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Hi, this is Loral, and welcome back to Loral's Real Money Talks, a podcast that talks about how to make money, how to keep money, how to invest it, how to do it with a team. And we have a variety of guests every once in a while, which in October, we'll be doing a very specific series. Actually, we'll record it in October, and we'll be rolling out around parenting financially literate and wealthy kids. So it's the how to do any sort of money literacy conversations with your kids and how to create some structures that they could be millionaires. And all you have to do is put about $5,000-$6,000 away a year. So cool strategies I'm going to share on what I've done as a parent and what you could be doing as well. And then throughout the year, we really focus on making money. There's a lot of folks who need to learn how to make money. In this case, we have a very, very cool guest today who quit a big corporate job, big corporate life to follow her dream as being an entrepreneur. And Gina Seneca is with me. She invented the TIKI Torch. Met her live at our Black Hole party. She came out as a sponsor. And we look forward to hearing kind of how you went from transition from corporate life, because I think those that are out, Gina, they're learning from you. They're creating some lessons between our conversation today. So welcome to Loral's Real Money Talks.
Thank you, Loral. Glad to be here.
So, Gina, before TIKI Torches, what did you do? Talk a little bit about your background, and then here you are in a startup and looking for capital raise and developing a very, very cool business idea.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So I spent a good portion of my career life in healthcare. I was a grievance officer / director of guest relations and customer service. So putting the customers first has always been in my heart and really led me down this path of wanting a bite of the all-American pie, right? So I didn't want to be owned by a corporation any longer. I'm getting up there in age, and I thought it was time for me to chase my dream, that wild spirit that we all have. It's a little tickle deep down inside. And I ran with it for over 25 years. I was in the healthcare world, healthcare arena, making 6 figures, director level position, was in 2 major healthcare systems down here in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. But if you're chasing your dreams and you're trying to get that little tickle out, you have to just do it. Somebody once told me, if you're going to take the leap, just jump straight down in and just do it. And although, Loral, I had a little bit of a plan. I worked a couple years creating this idea and perfecting this idea and paying for it a little bit along the way. A lot of people don't realize when you're starting a business or you're launching a product or even thinking of inventing a product, there's layers and layers and layers and layers of funding that need to be had. So before I jumped all in and took that leap of faith, for 2 years, I worked my full-time job and I paid along the way. I paid some attorney fees. I paid my patent fees. I kind of worked smart, knowing what was coming ahead of me. Then did a lot of research into what is required to take this leap and jump, and knew that it just doesn't come knocking at the door. So in June of this year, I jumped, Loral. I took the jump, and I'm so excited because I finally have perfected what I think is a wonderful product for those listening out there. I invented and created the TIKI Torch.
Before you go into what the TIKI Torch, talk a little bit about, you did do a lot of pre-things before you jumped and before you quit your job. And I know there's folks listening from all over the world that say, when's that moment? Just reflect a little more for the learning in the podcast. Did you think you jumped too soon, knowing what you know now? Obviously, the patents take time, so it's good you kept the money coming from your job. But on the timing, do you feel like the timing was right, and how did you assess the timing of that jump?
Excellent question. So I had to assess the jump because I was missing out on a lot of stuff that needed to be had during the day. I was missing out on going to some chamber functions, some women-owned entrepreneur functions, things of that sort. So I knew I had gotten this business to where I can get it working all day long, coming home, staying up till 2, 3 in the morning, dealing with a manufacturer that is overseas. So my advice that I would give to those listeners listening out there and have that tickle as well is create your list. Your lists are going to have another list because you have to do your research. You have to do your homework. You need to know your cost. You need to know what an attorney costs per hour. You need to know what it costs to create a prototype. Maybe you need 3 prototypes. So times that cost by 3 or by 4, whatever it is. And I always used to have a little oops fund put aside for things that you don't know that are going to come along the way. So I had been burning the candle at both ends for about 2 years and really started ramping this thing up. And what did it for me is I was going to an event in Las Vegas. And when I went to the event in Las Vegas and I realized, and I was pitching my product and I was pitching my idea and pitching everything I had given this, I realized at that event that I was missing out on a whole other world of opportunities. I didn't know that 2 years ago because I wasn't ready. I didn't walk the walk. And over the last 2 years, you kind of walk the walk slowly and you find things out here. What I did is I attached myself to a mentor. And I was able to connect with that mentor, not on a weekly basis. Sometimes it was on a monthly basis. But if I had something that came up and I wasn't quite sure, guess who I went to? I went to that mentor. And that mentor happened to be somebody who had walked my walk before that is locally in my area that can kind of guide me and answer some of the unknown questions that I had. So that's the number one thing I would say is find yourself a mentor. And a mentor doesn't mean that you're going to connect with them on Facebook and LinkedIn every single day. It means when you have a desire burning question you need an answer to or a guidance on which track to go, that mentor will be able to guide you, and it's their delight to be able to guide you.
And that's what I do as well. So that's also why we're here, like for folks that are out there that want that can be on speed dial and have those questions answered, on a timely basis. Now, let's go to the Keiki Torches. So why that? Of all the things you could have thought of and made up, it's a spin of something that's already out there, but it's very unique and now, very creative for what you've done. But why that?
Well, I had came up with a few different ideas in my brain along the years, and I just never put the pencil to the paper. And for this, I did. And as I put the pencil to the paper, it just kept growing and growing. And then really what it came out of is my experience with my Keiki Torches for 25 years in my yard. So all the flaws that your local Keiki Torches would normally have, I knew as a customer that these features and benefits could be expanded. There were so many opportunities with your average Tiki torch out there. So I'm an avid user of Tiki Torches. We have a big backyard. We like to host. We like to entertain. Even if it's just my husband and I and we're having a bonfire by the backyard, we still enjoy the ambiance of having those Tiki Torches lit. And over the years, we went through many of them. They rust, they rot, they fall apart. You can't get the oil in the canister. Then which oil do you buy? And then the citronella gave me headaches. And so it just kind of, as I'm sitting out in my yard enjoying what I thought was a wonderful Tiki torch, my brain started spinning. And another thing I want to tell your listeners is that if you do have a product idea, you got to write it down. Keep writing it down, because my features grew. Every time I wrote it down, my features grew and grew and grew, because you have to look back to see where were you 6 months ago? Where were you 3 months ago? And then you'll be surprised. So my love for my yard and hosting and entertaining people, that's how my mind came up with having a Keiki torch, not a Tiki torch, but a Keiki torch.
So talk a little more about the citronella part of that. So I just want to jump into that, because is there some science behind that? Is there a reason why the eucalyptus is much better? Is there some financial advantages in addition to health advantages?
No, not really. It's just a personal preference at this point. Once again, just having Tiki torches in my yard for the past 25 years and the same old, what's been around for 60 years, that's all we know to. That's all we gravitate to is what's already on the shelves, right? So I researched and manufactured. When I was coming up with the idea for my Keiki torch, the last thing I wanted was my customers to put my competitors' oil in my torch. So that's why I came up with a different spin on having a different scent. So I actually found a manufacturer that produces the eucalyptus, and I was able to go into the manufacturing process with the manufacturer. So when you think of eucalyptus, it's not walking into your old girlfriend's house and she's got that spray of eucalyptus over the doorway. This eucalyptus is a very light, crisp, subtle type of scent. But the beauty of the eucalyptus is it still fights off the bugs and the mosquitoes. And it's just another spin on having a scent. Eventually going forward, I would like to have a lavender scent. I would like to have a citrus scent as well.
So talk about the other features that come along with it. So I think in addition to just being a standard tiki torch and just setting up the value proposition, because yours are a little more expensive, but they also, I think are unique and provide higher value. So talk about some of the other, in addition to custom oil, how you do the boxes, how you do the customization. So I think that's genius.
Okay, great. Thank you. So TIKI Torches is a one-of-a-kind, personalizable tiki torch. Now, folks, you heard me good when I said it's personalizable, it's customizable. So any picture, graphic, or logo can be inserted into the clear cylinder, and it's being protected from the flame. So any picture, logo, or graphic can be changed out to whatever you desire. If you're a football fan, you put football in there. If you're a hearts fan, you put hearts in there. Whatever it is, balloons, puppies, kittens, it's your tiki torch. You can have it whatever way you want. So some of the features of a tiki torch, the number one thing that sets us apart from anything that is on the market today, Loral, is that we are personalizable. So once again, any picture, logo, or graphic can go inside of your tiki torch. We also offer 4 heights in one product. So we give you 3 pole segments. Those segments screw together. So that's 1, 2, 3 heights, or you simply use it as a tabletop. Our features are also that come with the tiki torch is that it's lightweight. It's not just a blob of steel or metal sitting into the ground. This is a very thought out, well-designed product. It's rust-proof. I don't know about you and your listeners, but my tiki torches over the years have rusted out. Can't even get the caps off if I wanted to put new oil in them. So needless to say, we no longer have tiki torches in our yard. We have the tiki torches in our yard. Another thing that I did, it's not unique only to tiki torches, is I designed a wide mouth oil can so that when you're putting your oil inside the can, you don't need a funnel, you should not need gloves, anything. You just open up the lid, put your oil right in the can. So it's kind of nice. Another thing about the tiki torch, it's a one of a kind over and over again. It's fun, it's new. It brings a fresh, new, fun idea to this product category that's actually been stale for well over 50 years. It's a one-of-a-kind over and over again. And as we talked about, our tiki torch comes with the eucalyptus tiki fuel.
Talk about the marketing and the segments. I think customized brides, outdoor parties. Talk about who would use this and how you did that marketing research.
Yeah, great question, Loral. So I got out of the building and I talked to people. That's the only way you're going to validate all day long. You can think in your mind, who is your customer segment? You write that on a piece of paper, but then you got to get out the door and validate it or invalidate it. So what I did is I came up with about 10 or 15 different types of customer segments. So anybody who has an outdoor space that uses their outdoor space, anybody who likes to host outdoor occasions, or if it's an indoor event, you can host the front of your yard as your guests are coming in. Outdoor brides, certainly, that's my number one segment that I'm looking to, is any bride, groom, bride, whatever, getting married outdoors. So I think the Keiki Torch will deliver a nice, unique personalization that nobody has ever done before. Another thing that's really great about the Keiki Torch is you could use it as directional signage. If your reception is one way, it could be used as arrows pointing that way. If the bathrooms are this way, you can use it pointing your guests to the bathrooms one way or the other. I'm also targeting outdoor venues. I'm targeting high-end hotels on the sand. I'm targeting Caribbean destination weddings. I'm targeting certified wedding planners. I'm targeting the RV world. Or I don't know if you know this, but inside these coach RVs, they're just like having $1 million mansion on wheels. These folks take RV into a whole new level, and they love doing things outdoors. They're setting up camp outdoors. They're setting up an outdoor kitchen. So that RV world is another customer segment of mine, as well as realtors. Well, realtors always want to give their new homeowner a gift, and the Keiki Torch would be a perfect gift to give. Everybody's had a bottle of champagne. Nobody wants another fruit basket, right? However, a Keiki Torch would be a nice personalized gift for the realtors to give to their new homeowners. So those are just a couple ideas that I had. Those ideas, I went out into the field, I door knocked, I talked to people, I talked to strangers, I looked for feedback, I let people touch my product, feel the product, take it apart, put it back together again. And the number one thing I want them to do is ask me questions.
I know you've worked on pricing and how you're going to uniquely use it differently. Talk a little bit about the investor side, because I know how we met was looking for investor money and, again, not only in the startup, but also working to raise some capital. Why that direction? Yes. Obviously, in addition to the obvious is that you need some capital. What will you be using the capital for? And is it worth giving up some of the company for it? Just more of a question over the top.
Yeah, great question again. So the number one thing I do want to tell your listeners is my molds are paid for in full. And what that means to an investor is we can run about 400,000 units. My average price is $59.99. I have 2 or 3 products, and I just combined the price to give an average price. And so over the life, that's worth about $24 million. And so what I'm looking for is either taking this to a manufacturing whole new level and joining the 3 biggest players in this space and becoming their competition. So I am looking to have a revenue next year in 2020 of about $350,000 to $400,000, and that's on about $150,000 investment. So what I'm looking for is my first large run. That's 10,000 units, 10,000 boxes. We sell 2 different products. We sell a single Keiki Torch, and then we sell something as a kit. And what somebody gets with the kit is they get 3 extra add-ons to the Keiki Torch. So we have a couple different products that we are offering out there. And how did I find out that I needed to sell a single Keiki Torch, Loral? Is when I interviewed the people out the door, out of my home. When I went and I interviewed the strangers on the streets, people told me, I would love 10 of these, but I necessarily don't want 10 boxes. I'll take 1 box and 9 single Keiki Torches. Boom, the light bulb went off. Boom, I had to make a pivot, and the pivot proved to be a successful pivot. So when I'm talking about an investor, I'm looking for a strategic partner that knows how to scale a product. Hey, I just come from the healthcare world. I definitely know how to talk a wolf off the edge and not allow a complaint to go into a grievance. But what I do need some guidance and education on is how do you scale a product to a level that has never been scaled before? Once again, I said I got 3 giant players out there that I would like to become their competition. So my first run of 10,000 units, 10,000 boxes, 10,000 bottles of oil. And of course, I need some marketing, right? We can't do this without having marketing. Loral, there's so many doors I could knock on by myself. My knuckles get a little bloody from time to time, but nothing like getting out there and hearing from the people. See, the market always wins. This is what I've learned, especially for your people that are listening. The market always wins. So just a little bit of advice for somebody who's thinking about launching a product. You need to have a product market fit. You need to go out there, speak to people. I'm going to tell you to speak to 100 people at minimum before you dump thousands of dollars into a product you don't even know is a market fit.
Absolutely. So what's your website? How do people get a hold of you if they want to see what you're doing, create, a purchase, or just talk to you in general more about your idea?
Okay, so www.KeikiTorches.com. That's KIKITORCHES.com. They'll be able to view the website. They'll be able to see some different ideas that I have on there. If they want to get a hold of me, it's info, INFO, at KeikiTorches.com. They could go to Facebook /Keiki Torches. We're on Instagram, Keiki_Torches. We are now on Google. I'm so excited. We are now on Google. I mean, if you hit Google, I think sometimes you make it, right? And also, if you just want a direct link right to me. I'm going to go ahead and give my number out there to all your folks, but they can certainly reach me at 954-993-9378. It would be my pleasure to educate somebody on all the steps I've gone through, but more importantly, show them and teach them how to use a Keiki torch. More importantly, again, let them have 5 or 6, 7, 10, 12 Keiki torches, right?
Absolutely. And clearly, I think, if I had to pick, I think your wedding idea for wedding parties, I think realtors, especially if they're selling in sunny markets and outdoor markets where they can actually have them year round, are great gifts for realtors to hand to somebody versus, a basket of flowers for the buy of my home. So a lot of uses, cool idea. Wish you luck as we continue, and I'll continue to, be in conversation with you. And we appreciate your stopping for a moment and educating those who maybe are sitting and listening in a corporate job that want to jump, and those who want to take the risk, but have the courage to do a startup, because they aren't as easy as everyone stands by and looks. So thank you for all of your sharing today, Gina.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Those of you listening, if you want to ever ask a question or make a request, you can go to askloral.com. That's ASKLORAL, askloral.com. And we are live every month answering those questions through a live process. But every day someone will be responding to you. So ask what you need, and we'll be back in touch. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.